We are at the Sea of Galilee, and we are so delighted to be here in this place that Jesus loved, that He spent so much of His ministry, the place where He called His disciples, the place where He taught His disciples, the place where He came before and after His resurrection. And so there's so many stories that we get from Scripture about times in which Jesus ministered and times in which Jesus performed miracles on the Sea of Galilee.
Well, it's windy on the Sea of Galilee and we're out on a boat. Does that remind you of anything? It's one of the most beloved stories of Jesus. Jesus loved this lake, and He was often on the Sea of Galilee, moving around the shore to the various communities, sometimes going across with His disciples. So they were often out on a boat. I started to say like this, this is a much bigger boat, and it also has a motor, which is really good because the sea is picking up right now, and the wind is not so calm either here. So when the Lord was on it, as I understand it from the people that live around here, is that the wind can start whipping up the waves pretty quickly, and you can be in a pretty precarious situation. And that's what they were out in the middle of the lake, and suddenly the cross winds began to blow, and that thing just started going everywhere. And so the Lord was asleep. He was just resting on His way to go to the next place of ministry, and they shook Him and said, "Don't you care? We're about to perish here." And He woke up and He said, "Oh, your little faith." And then it says, He rebuked the wind and the waves and told them to be still. And the next thing that happens, they're in awe, and they're saying, "What manner of man is this that can command even the wind and the waves to be still?" So that He had power over nature. They already know He's a great teacher. He's a good rabbi. They've already accepted Him as a father in faith. And now He's rebuking demons, and now He's calming the waves and the water and so forth. And I think that's when we also often know that Jesus is in our life, and that He's much more than maybe our parents' faith or whatever. It's when we get in a storm. And when we get in a storm and we don't know what to do, sometimes it looks like the Lord's asleep too. So we're praying, and prayers aren't going anywhere. And then all of a sudden there is that intervention. I know in our own church a few years ago, Katie Hollis had the E. coli virus, and she was fighting for her life, and it just didn't look good. And so the Shaws were here in Israel at the time, and they put her name on actually he had one of those wristbands with Katie's name on it that we've been praying for, and put it in the Wailing Wall, and just made that prayer petition. And before they left here to go back home, they heard that she had left the hospital. Those are those situations, and we all face this together in our church with Katie and many other things, to where we're in the storm, we don't know what to do, we're calling out to the Lord, and then there's intervention. So it's a beloved story for all kind of reasons, not just because it happened here a long time ago, but because it's happened in each of our lives and happens still.